Billy Morris here at Audio Bay. Anyways, we're here with my very good friend Brad Slitt, and we're here because we're talking about a show.
How do you, Billy?
How you doing, Brad?
Doing good. Doing
We're
well.
talking about a show that we're going to do together. It's September 1st at the Gameday Tavern, September 1st, 2019. It's coming up. But I had a night off. It's Sunday night. It's the night before Labor Day, and I thought to myself, I'm going to make some phone calls and see who calls me back. And you were one of the guys that called me back. And I want to do a jam.
So is this a crapshoot, and I just happen to be the lucky guy?
You
I'll take
called
that.
back.
I'll take that gig.
And there's a lot of other people that call back. A few
I
people
always call
didn't
you
call
back, Billy.
A few people didn't call back. But this show is going to be Billy Morris and his friends, A Good Night of Rock and Roll. It's
Absolutely,
Sunday
man.
night, the night before Labor Day. Nobody has to go to work. I've got you performing. I've got Tori from the band Spoiled and the band Murder Bay, one of my longtime friends. He's playing. George Chapman's coming up from Key West. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let me silence that.
I have
Matthew's
my
talking.
friends in the band Grizzly. Oh,
Sorry, Brad.
that phone likes Grizzly too.
Yeah.
You want to start
all
over?
right. No, dude, it's all good. Keep it rolling.
I can
if
edit
you're
that
cool
out.
with
We
it.
can edit that out, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
I got my friends Grizzly. They're a good story about Grizzly, real quick, before we get into talking to you, is that Larry Lawrence taught me Sweet Home Alabama and Give Me Three
Okay.
Steps on the steps of Columbia Station High School in
Wow.
1982. So those guys are my brothers. We've got a whole list of people that we're going to talk about, but let's talk about you. Brad Slitt, claim to fame, Cleveland, Ohio, Priscilla. Tell me about how you put Priscilla together and in a nutshell what that band
Well,
was.
dude, I mean, there was when Spoiled was taking off. I mean, you remember going way back, dude. I remember you guys were recruiting me, if you will. I remember. I think
We were, yeah.
dude. Yeah, I remember.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, and like you were the dude. You were always there, man. Like we talked on the phone, the other day about that, and like you were always. I don't want to say a fan because it sounds like I'm egoing out, but you were a fan without being a fan. I remember you coming up to me. I think it was at a Striper show, John
It
Carroll.
was Striper,
and
yeah,
you
I know.
were like, dude, you are the ultimate looking rock star. I'm like, well, thank you, And you're like, I want you to sing for my band. I want you. And it was going towards those lines, and then I dragged my feet on it. I did, for whatever reasons were at the time. And then Tori came into the scene and blew everyone away. I mean, I remember seeing your guys' first show with Tori. It was at Diversions, I believe. Is that right? Or was that Shadows?
No, it must have been Shadows.
Yeah,
because
okay.
Shadows was before Diversions. and
Okay,
we played a lot of
yeah.
shows. Our big show at Shadows was we opened for Poison
I remember that. Yeah. Poison.
in about a 300-seat club.
Yeah. And I remember the first time I saw you guys play, the first song I think you did with Tori was Soldiers Under Command.
That's
Dude,
right. That was one of our.
And I was like,
staples.
no, there's no way. Can I swear or
Yeah,
like?
you can swear.
Okay. I was like, there's no way this dude's gonna fucking hit those Michael Sweet notes. And he comes out and he does it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, my jaw dropped. I was like, okay, I lost my job, But I mean, God bless you guys, man. That was fucking rock and roll.
It was
so awesome, dude.
fun scene.
Such a fun scene,
So
dude.
that was that's back in the 80s.
Yeah.
I remember my father telling me, like I was a young kid, and my dad grew up in the 50s, and he's like, man, you grew up in the wrong era. The 50s is where it was at.
And now we're the guys
telling
singing
my
that.
kids
Yeah.
now, dude, you wish you grew up in the 80s, but I'm sure they're gonna have a great life too,
Yeah.
But,
I think every generation says that because they think they're the generation. But man, those were the
the
great
thing
times.
about
It was a
being
nonstop
spoiled-
party. It was Fast Times at Ridgemont High, 24/7.
No. The thing
That was
about
great,
Spoiled
man.
and Priscilla, and back then, you had a band camaraderie. You were brothers.
Yeah.
And you guys, you could do it. Like in Spoiled, we practiced 5-6 days a week. And if we weren't practicing, we were going out as a band. And I'm sure that's how.
It was a
Priscilla
gang, man. It
You
was a gang,
guys
yeah.
had a rehearsal studio in Berea, right?
Yep.
I remember all
Right
that
across the
stuff.
street from on Front Street, across from the shop
Yeah.
in Berea.
And that's what we did back in the day. We
Yep.
practiced every day.
Every day,
And then
man.
you went out, and when you went out, you dressed up like a rock star.
Yep.
And you handed your flyers to girls.
But
and
it wasn't that you tried. It was just the
It
lifestyle.
was a lifestyle, yeah.
It wasn't like it's like, hey, what should I wear? I want to look like a rock star. That was just what you did.
Yeah. So, the whole success of Priscilla, you guys were on Z-Rock, you guys played a bunch of big shows, you traveled and toured regionally. So, after Priscilla, what'd you do?
I tried to get some other musical things going. Actually, what happened, there's a big part there where A funny story, real quick, and I'll go into that. But like talking about having the look, I remember when Priscilla was getting shot by Atlantic Records, and the first thing my mom did, God bless my mom, man. She didn't give me she didn't say I'm going to give you some money for vocal lessons or anything like that. She said I'm going to give you some money so you could buy some new stage clothes. It was all about the clothes and the look, you know.
A lot of times it was more important.
Right. Back then, yeah. Okay, so what happened after Priscilla? When Priscilla, like in its final days, we were doing. Mitch Karchewski, you know, was managing us.
God bless his soul.
Yep. And like he'd manage you guys too, and he was, you know, he's always trying to do the right thing, and he got us some great gigs, great shows, great tours, and you know, he was always doing great things for us. And had the scene had lasted, something big would have come of it. But you know, I was just like, I was getting tired. I was spinning my wheels, and you know, quite frankly, I guess, you know, just party. It became so much of a party to me that the party was more important than the music, in a sense. And I moved to Florida for a while, and when I was out there, I started like rubbing elbows with Marilyn Manson, Brian Warner, when he was just starting up. And I was looking for some of my friends out there were in bands like Trix, T-R-Y-X, Trix from Florida. I was hanging out with Alan Vine, who ended up playing with Vince Neil and toured, and he was a roadie for Motley Crue and still was on their last tour. But I was hanging out with guys like that, and like they introduced me to Marilyn, and they said, "Oh yeah, you like this guy? He's from Cleveland. You know, he's cool. You'll have things that you guys identify with." And so we started talking, and he was so weird, but it was his image he was putting out there. I remember walking in a place called the Button South, the big rock club in Hallandale, Florida, and like that was my first time I sighted him, and he had basically the outfit on that he ended up wearing on the back of Portrait of an American Family, where he kind of had the Dr. Seuss looking going on with the striped stockings and stuff. And he had a lunchbox he was carrying with him, and me and Alan and some dudes are hanging out, and we're all glammed out. You know, I'm sure he's singing only these guys, you know. But he walks in, I'm like, who's this guy, man? They're like, oh, that's Marilyn, dude. You like him. He's cool. I'm like, a dude named Marilyn? What's that all about, you know? Meanwhile, we all got chick names in our glam bands and shit, but I'm dissing on this dude, you know? But they're like, no, dude. And he trolls up to the bar, he sets up his lunchbox, opens it up, and puts little toy soldiers all around him. I'm like, what's up with that, man? But, you know, I started talking to him, and he told me what he was up to, what he was going to do. And Trent Reznor ended up going out there, and he was working for a local paper, a Scene magazine type thing out there. And Trent offered him a deal. He told Trent at the time, Trent said, you have a voice that sounds like it'd be good for singing. And he said, well, really, I'm just a writer. I don't think I want to sing, but I do some poetry at poetry nights or something at some club. And he kind of coaxed him into singing. It was a story from what I got. And he said, dude, you get this going. I will get you a deal. I'll do something with you. And Trent was exploding at the time. I remember Trent, we were recording in the studio, and Sean Bevan was our engineer at the time, and we were listening to all the tracks that ended up becoming Pretty Hate Machine. And me and Mike Colotto, my guitarist at the time, Trent gave us the demo cassette, and he said, here, listen to this, let me know what you think. Don't play it for anybody. Nice. And I remember us taking it home in Mike's car. We're like, what is this, man? This noise, you know? He made millions, you know, 10 times right, and we didn't, right? But so anyways, man, long story short, I got carried away on that. But so when I came back to Cleveland from Florida, I wanted to do what like Marilyn was doing. Like I had this idea to put together a shocking, some over-the-top band. I really liked the vibe that he was putting out there when he was getting his stuff together. And I put together a band very briefly. I was going to be called Massacre on Broadway. And it fell apart real quick. I just had other things going on in my life. And we put together a bunch of songs. And like Sean Bollinger, my buddy Sean that we were just talking about, was bass player for that band. And we wrote a bunch of songs real quick. That was real cool stuff. And it was along the lines of what was starting to happen in the music scene at that time, which was more like leaning towards a Bush type sound with some industrial sounds mixed in. Like there's some weird stuff. But really kind of what it was predating the Mushroom Head sound, which our manager Mitch ended up unofficially managing them and getting their
helping them out a lot.
Yeah, he basically brokered their $1.4 million deal with Sony Records. And I remember Dave from that band coming to me and asking me, I remember us sitting in my basement and talking about Mitch, and he was asking me what my thoughts were on Mitch, and if Mitch should continue to help them out and things like that. And they ended up not going with them, and I know there was a lot of strife involved with that. But basically, that's what I wanted to do, was do something what they ended up doing. I remember John Sekula, who has passed away, the original guitarist.
J.J. Righteous.
Right, J.J. Righteous. He was a righteous dude. he lived up to his name. But I remember him telling me what their plan was. I ran into those guys and they were telling me, like, yeah, dude, we're going to do this band. It's going to be like this and like that. I go, there's a guy in Florida that's doing it right now. I said, and I was going to do something like that. But I think that's really
that
cool.
was right around the Red Eye Rock Club days.
Yep.
Like,
I remember they were playing
the
there.
same thing to me. We're starting this band called Mushroom Man.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
I had worked with John a lot and his brother Brian in Terror.
Okay,
We did a
yeah,
lot
yeah,
of
dude.
Death metal, the band called Terror, and Brian's really still doing something. He's a great guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember
those
going to
are
their
the
house
days
over in Indian Creek, and what's that?
The Red Eye.
The Red Eye. Oh yeah, dude. John Sekula. There's a funny story. I remember he had this fascination with. It was me, him, and do you remember Mike Ulmer?
I know Mike Ulmer.
Great dude, man. Actually, we just hooked up again on Facebook, and Mike's awesome, dude. I love that kid, man.
He was the original guitar player before I joined Ross.
Yes, exactly, dude. Now that dude was. He looked like a rock star, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Like he was just a cool dude. He still does, dude.
Yeah.
If you scope him out on Facebook, he still looks like a rock star. But I remember he was friends with John, and they were getting me to sing. They wanted to do a remake of Roxy Roller, the old Sweeney Todd song. Do you remember that?
I do not, but
Do you really? You don't know Roxy Roller?
No.
I'm shocked, dude.
I don't know.
Wow, Foxy from the Roxy might turn some heads.
Obviously, I'll be YouTubing it tonight. Right?
Okay, dude, it is a great tune. A total glam, I think from 75, 76, somewhere around there. And it was a huge hit. I don't know, number one, it was a huge rock radio hit. But they were fascinated with us, me, John, and Mike doing a remake of that song. And John had a little makeshift recording studio in his basement that we were down there recording stuff. And I'll never forget him. He had a box full of gooseneck microphone stands. Don't ask me why, but I remember I went down with my cousin Mike, who ended up later playing bass for me and Priscilla for a while. But he had this box of goosenecks, and John's like, help yourself, man. I got a box of them. My cousin took one. I'm like, what are you doing with the gooseneck, Mike? Right? But it's just a funny little thought about John, because like he's just a sweet guy, man.
Super sweet.
But yeah, so that was what me, John, and Mike were gonna do, and John ended up hitting it big there for a little while with Mushroom Head, man.
Sure
you know,
did.
so and those
And they're
guys still
still
rolling.
doing
They still are, man.
Legends.
Still rolling along. Yeah.
We'll have to get them in the studio and ask them about their relationship with Slipknot.
There you go.
That's a good story,
I
Harry.
have a guy I'm putting an addition on my house right now, and we were just having a huge discussion about that today, about Mushroom Head versus Slipknot, who came first, who did what first, and Mitch told me the whole story, you know, for what that's worth, man. Mitch told me, Mitch Karchewski, Spotlight Town, told me that, you know, Roadrunner Records really did want them, but they wanted all the merchandising rights from what Mitch had told me, and they didn't want to give that up. I may be totally wrong on that.
That's the
you know?
same story
Like,
I heard. So they pulled the deal and offered it to this band from
yes.
Iowa or wherever they're from.
And they said, here, you're going to wear
Put
these
masks
outfits.
on, and
Yep.
you're good,
Yep. So look at them now, man. But
So then you did a couple little projects here and there.
Yeah.
And then you did another Priscilla project with Joe Fritchen.
yes.
And then you guys played at my club, the Hi-Fi Club.
Yep. We had done. Let's see. Before that, I can't remember. I mean, we were always doing. We did reunions at the Red Eye.
Yeah.
I mean, and we always packed them. It always worked out good. I don't know. Like I'd come out of the woodwork and say, all right, you know, and you and Tony at the time running the Red Eye asked me. We were doing the tribute for that guy from Snow White that got killed. Remember, got killed on his bachelor party. Yes, he got run over by a train. And you guys said, hey, can you? And because me and Carrie from the band Snow White and Joe had started another band actually that we recorded a bunch of tracks, a bunch of demos in Carrie's basement. And Carrie was I don't know whatever happened to that guy, but man, that guy was a powerhouse musician, man. He could play a lot of things, had a great voice, and was a good recording engineer too. And we recorded a bunch of really interesting demos, really cool stuff, man. We did like 15, 16 demos, and then like that all broke up like it usually did, you know, just we got tired of it or whatever. And somewhere around that time, right after that, was when the guy from Snow White died, who Carrie had been in the band with. And it might have been Carrie or someone came up to me and told me I felt horrible for his family. And you guys asked us to play a reunion. We did, and it was great. And I do remember I busted one of your mics that night. You had the sound system, and I was doing the old Roger Daltrey and hit the stage and I was like, "Oh, Billy for that." Yeah, but but I remember that. And then time went on, and then another time these labels, little indie labels, because we'd had the deal with Sun City Records with the High Fashion album and like stuff from the demos from the Wake Up the Neighborhood days.
Did you ever make any money from that?
From which deal?
What was that label for the Sun City record? What was it called?
Sun City Records.
Make a little cash?
Yes and no. No. We'll put it as no. You know, is there ever any money in entertainment? You know, but I mean, you know, they're fair and they put out a really good product. You know, so then at that point, after that came out, actually that was a big hit for that label, and F&A Records asked me because there was a bunch of who's the guy that did Rocklahoma, his label Retrospect, yeah. They wanted the High Fashion or the Wake Up the Neighborhood demos and stuff. They wanted to put that out. So all of a sudden there was a bidding war, if you will, you know, for all the old demos and stuff. And I remember, I think Tom took the demos to your studio to get something remastered or something at some point.
Perhaps.
But so you know, Sun City got that, but all the labels were pissed off or whatever that we gave it to them. But they offered us the best deal and put out the best product. You know, like they offered us a package that was really cool that was going to work for what we were putting out. So we went with them, and then a couple years later, a couple years go by, F&A Records said, you know, we really wanted that. Is there something else you have? And I said, well, actually, I said, I'm recording some things right now. I'm doing some things. That was when me and Joe were writing and recording things, and we did the 8 Lives Gone album that F&A ended up putting out. And I love that album to this day.
It's a great song.
I like it, man. I mean, it's hard hitting. It's totally influenced by even Manson, if you will, you know, but like actually what really influenced that was the European new wave of sleaze metal bands that were coming out in the early 2000s. Backyard Babies, Hardcore Superstar, I guess Crash Diet to a lesser degree, you know, bands like that were coming out. Like, they've always been around, but that scene was really blowing. I do too.
I like that scene because it's like, it seems like it's an organic scene. It's what the kids like.
They love it,
in
man.
America, it's what the media tells you what you
There you go. That's exactly right. Those kids live it, man.
We can have a whole other show talking about that.
Yeah.
So you did that, and, and then you decided, well, I'm going to make a movie.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, we played, you know, all the Priscilla thing, ran its course again. I did the reunions and the shows and this and that, and actually got offered a lot of like club dates in Europe, actually, but the money wasn't there because when they're offering you $800 a night to play a show, you know, but we got 10 shows for you. Okay, you do the math on it. It's like, okay, I got 5 guys to fly out, plus road, you know, crew, managers, whatever, getting around, expenses. Like, that's not going to cut it. So that went by the wayside. Then I went to the movie thing. Yeah, I ended up the first thing I did was, you know, I made some connections in the local movie scene. And I made a movie called Running with the Angels. That was my first movie. It was an autobiographical pick to a degree based on a lot of things that happened in the last 10 years or so in my life with deaths in the family, suicides in the family, drug addiction, things like that. Run-ins that I had with people that came into my life that were selling their bodies for drugs. Bottom line, I mean, just to be blunt, straight out. And I based a lot of things on that, you know, I mean, without pulling any punches. It was based on that nitty-gritty part of life, and I saw that underbelly of people selling the souls for, you know, pills, drugs, heroin, whatever. And then, so I parlayed that into a script that involved facets of my life and things I'd seen and things that I'd been through, along with the drug culture and things that happened there. And the movie, actually, I mean, it was like, it came together so quick, and we shot it. I shot it with some guys out of the Akron film scene and that. It was a heartfelt movie with a ton of balls behind it. Low budget movie, but it had tons of heart. And people really dug it, man. And it found an audience really quickly in the underground. And it was getting represented by an agency that was putting it out there, was going to sign it and distribute it, put it out there. You know, it would have been out there in the B movie theaters. You know,
put in Netflix or something.
It would have been all over there. It was going to the Cannes Film Festival. It was, you know, it was making rounds and being seen by important people, and it would have really taken off. It did some big things. But now, what's important to say, and I'll go in there. At that time, I had another script. The guy that helped, when I say helped, he edited, Running with the Angels. He had the facilities to do that. He filmed it. I'll give credit where it's due. He filmed it and he edited it. He helped me out with it. He did. And he said, this is the greatest script I've personally ever seen. Do you have anything else? I said, I have a vampire script called Pharisee that I've put together that is basically done. I just got some loose ends to tie up. And he wanted to take a look at that. I showed him. He said, this is absolutely awesome. I want to do this next. And that movie was, my screenplay for it was a cross between The Lost Boys and Sid and Nancy. I don't know if I'm sure you're familiar with The Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Sid and Nancy, a personal favorite of mine. I love that movie. So it was basically, I was cast as the star. Pharisee was the main character. It was basically like a lone lost boy. And he was like a Sid Vicious type of character. He was a lovable vampire character. Okay, so I'm going to set that up for you as that right now. So that was going on, and we were starting the pre-production on that, and things were getting set in motion to make that film at the time that Running with the Angels was released. So my head was already focused on Pharisee as we're finishing up the loose ends on Running with the Angels, finishing post-production, everything that was being put together. So then Running with the Angels came out. We're already working on the next movie. As soon as Running with the Angels came out, the week we were signing to distribution, can I talk about what happened with it?
I would love for you. We're not holding any punches back here.
Okay, and I won't mention names. And to this day, I'm so conflicted about this whole thing. I personally cast, I looked at so many casting auditions, so many videos people sent me and that for the two lead roles. And the lead role is a male that carries the whole movie, which is the character loosely based on me. And I wanted someone that was gritty, that had a James Dean, doesn't give a shit, live young, die fast attitude, that had issues. I don't want to say issues, because I had issues at the time. I was dealing with depression. I was dealing with a lot of weird things going on in my life that I needed to convey, that I wanted this lead character to convey. And I needed someone that was broken down, that was dying on the inside, but still just was out there not giving a fuck and living life and just getting through it one way or another. And he was holding on for something, because he thought there was something better out there. As the movie went along, in his head, he thought there's something better. Life has more than just this. So he was living for tomorrow, even if there was no tomorrow. And I needed that character to convey that. So I was auditioning all these people that were seasoned local actors, and people from all over Ohio, Cincinnati, Dayton, Toledo were sending me tapes, audition tapes, videos. And there's some really great actors and stuff, but maybe one guy would be playing things like a Shakespearean type actor, but it just kind of was off. Maybe one guy was pretty good, but didn't have the right look I wanted. This guy had to look killer. He had to look like a Brad Pitt type of look, or something.
I saw him right away. It's this is the guy.
When me and this guy connected, I was it came we'd known each other from some mutual friends. Let's leave it at that, And we had some run-ins, in clubs and stuff. Good run-ins, we were always cool with each other. And when it came down, he said, I've been wanting to be an actor and this and that. So things opened up, we hung, and I said, this is what it takes. I'm not going to say his name. I'm going to hold up. I almost slipped there, but I just don't want to say too much about him. This is his personal story. Think what you might. Whoever is watching this, whoever knows the story, can think what they may about it. And obviously, you're going to have thoughts. Everyone has their thoughts. I have my thoughts. I knew the guy was conflicted with life and had issues and stuff, but what ended up happening was I personally handpicked him and said, this is the dude. And I in a sense, we lived together for weeks until we started filming, because I wanted this guy, I wanted him to know my story. I wanted him to know the story of the screenplay and where every individual story that was embedded in that screenplay came from. Everything, every suicide, everything that took place in that story was based on something that happened in my life directly in the last 10 years. Whether it was my 18-year-old nephew killing himself, or my other nephew that overdosed, or all those things that happened, I wanted him to feel the anguish that I was feeling when I wrote that down. And he did it, man. This guy, man, he went to bat. And the first night on set, he was feeling it, and we were filming an outdoor scene, and he had to punch a wall, and I said, okay, just hold back. And he punched a wall. He broke his hand pretty much that. And first night filming, I said, man, dude, you didn't have to do it. He's like, no, I wanted to. And he was feeling it. Man, there were scenes that he filmed that had tears coming out of my eyes. Actually, I think it was the last night of filming, maybe, there was a scene where he breaks down, and it was like they closed down Lakewood for us. They filmed things. It was right down from your old club, from the Hi-Fi, down the street. It was a Sunday night at like 3 a.m. at night, and it had just rained, and the streets looked perfect, and everything was like, it's dead down there. There was nothing. It was right around the corner from Melt. I don't know the side street there, but it was right in that intersection, everything going on, but there was nothing going on. And we filmed and came around the street, and he just broke down. He had this breakdown scene, and he's crying.
Right, real.
Dude.
It's real, yeah.
What was going on in his head was real. Like, the reason he was able to convey all emotion was there was things going on there, man, and he made that work. And people could say, you know, afterwards, the whole Cleveland film community was chastising this guy and like, chastising him for what happened. I'm going to get to in a second, and once I blurt that out for whoever doesn't know that's watching this, they're going to say, holy shit, of course, he's a fiend, he's a monster. Okay, well, what he did is monstrous, but what he brought to the screen in that movie, man, it shouldn't diminish the film. And it pisses me off because, like, right now, I have a print of the film that I'll distribute, I'll put it on YouTube, I'll do something with it, because the guy that helped me do it, and this is going to go back to what I said about the vampire movie, he just, he likes to throw around the word narcissist. Well, you know, I don't want to name call, but there's people that have issues. I've tried to communicate with this guy for 2 years, however long it's been since I've filmed with him, and he refuses communication because he's on his power trip, whatever, so be it. You know, he can live his life and continue doing what he's doing. I try to give him a hand up. Not saying, you know, I'm the end all, but you know how it is. Like, I tried to help some people out and do the right thing. I did. I told them I would do everything in my power to make this work, to make it click, and I did. And I got that second movie, a distribution deal that I'm going to go back to. And this is where everything fell apart, which pisses me off about the Running with the Angels thing, because he keeps taking it up and down from YouTube, and he has, in his mind, the only existing copy, and he's torturing me by taking it up and down, you know. And yeah, it pissed me off, and it you know, I broke down the first time it vanished. Pissed me off because that's an artwork, you know. That's something that there's people, Joey DePasquale, another guy, Jason Myers, brilliant local musician. They all gave of themselves freely to make music for this movie, to make beautiful, to come together and make a beautiful work of art that truly is 94, 96 minutes of art. You know, it's underground, it's dark, it's low budget, but it's beautiful. The music, the soundtrack, the people that gave of themselves to make this thing work, they did that. And this guy is robbing them of the chance to be seen or heard by the world by doing that. He's attacking me. Okay, I'll take that. I'm a big boy, I can handle it. Is it going to ruffle my feathers? Of course it is. But he's going to do what he's going to do. So what happened, going back to what happened is, as the movie was going to distribution, the lead actor that I handpicked raped his girlfriend's 6-year-old daughter. He's in prison for that now for many years. Of course, everything fell apart because we had someone, a sentenced pedophile, you know, as the lead in the movie that was carrying the movie. He carried the entire movie. No one, it's untouchable in that sense. You know, no one's going to make money off of it in that. Maybe years from now, maybe they will. I mean, look at Roman Polanski, or people like, you know, people move on, life moves on, life moves forward. Yeah. What he did is a heinous act. I don't know the facts. No one will probably ever know the facts, you know. And I don't want to go say too much further about that, but I mean, that's out there. And so as that was going on, I couldn't even believe, you know, it was a mini explosion in my world, because I was like, right when I got there, it's like, you know, it's like our bands were just on the cusp of breaking huge, and everything breaks apart, everything falls apart. And that's, you know, nature of business. Like, I had so many big label record deals that were being shopped, and then because of an ex-manager, old manager, whatever, things got snuffed. And, you know, none of my doing. I wanted things to happen, obviously. You know, I mean, I could have been a worldwide rock star at a young age, had the right things to come together, but you're powerless at times, you know, because it's not even in your power to make these things happen. Like in this case, everything went smoothly. I was in charge of everything, but I wasn't in charge of this guy's life. And everything fell apart because of that. So I said, okay, I'm going to move on. I'm going to focus on this vampire film, Pharisee, that I was making at the time. So we're already in the midst of filming that, and I'm getting handed one page at a time, a script. And every script page was just me killing another victim, another female victim, another female victim. and it was just a bloodbath. There was a gore scene, which the guy that I handed it over, he said, I want to direct this. I want to do my next film. He had directed some other movies that were horror films, hardcore. He's really into slasher, really into gore, really into violence, really into dark, just violence. I wanted substance. I wanted story. I want a legacy left behind of something that has a body of work, is a beautiful body of work in one way or another. The movie that I'd written in Pharisee was a extension from Running with the Angels that went right from that. It was a story about eternal love and mortality, and us realizing our mortality. And it was, in a sense, a modern-day Romeo and Juliet as vampires. It was Sid and Nancy as vampires. It was a rock and roll vampire fable about mortality and love and what's real and is there a God and things like that, all along with a really keen sense of wit and humor. He reduced that to rewriting my script because I was getting one page at a time, and I said, man, I need an entire script. I don't know what my motivation is here. I hate that, what's my motivation? But in a true sense, I didn't know what my motivation was. I would show up, I'd be in a dark corner, and a girl would walk by, and I'd attack her, kill her. And I'm like, what's going on? And I'd be covered in blood, head to toe, more blood. But his big thing was, the makeup effects artist that was on the scene at the time. His name's Ron George, local musician, used to be yeah. And he did the makeup and everything. He said, Ron, I want more blood. I want more blood. So everything was just a bloodbath. Like, we filmed things in my house, and the place was just like caked with blood. I was repainting rooms because my house kept getting destroyed. And, it was just, when I got the full rewritten script, it was just a straight-out gore slasher, basically, with very little, other than my character names and little incidentals left. There was nothing left. So we were at odds the whole time, and then he fired the lead actress that I had hired, that I handpicked. Yeah. And was replaced with a friend of his. She was a great actress and everything, but she just wasn't the person that we had chosen for the role, and things just fell apart, and they're falling apart all along. But even in the end, I told him I was going to see things through, and even when I didn't want in that thing anymore, I stayed with it. In the meantime, I made some good friends in the local film community, and another director, Conrad Farage, who's a local big underground name. He had cast me in a little small indie short film called The Battered Man. He wrote it around me. Actually, the character was called Rockstar. It was like a Scarface kind of guy.
Is that on YouTube anywhere to see?
You know what the trailer is? The movie was up there. I think he pulled it. I haven't seen that, but I know the trailer is up there.
What's it called?
The Battered Man. As in, there's bad men and there's battered men. So it's just me. I'm a badass pimp, and I got my women living in some house with me, and these two undercover detectives come in and blow everyone away. But that was going to turn into a full-length movie called The Wild Vengeance, I believe. But the budget for that got too big, and budgets fell through, things fell apart, as they do, and we moved on, and then Pharisee was still filming while all this was going on. We finished Pharisee, and it wasn't... I wouldn't have signed to make the movie that was being made, but I made it, and I saw it through. And other people involved said, "Well, why didn't you quit? When you disliked what you were seeing, what was going on, why didn't you quit?" And his right hand men were telling me things like that. I said, "Because I'm a businessman first." I said, "I'm a man of my word." Mitch Karchewski told me a long time ago, our manager, said, "All you got in this business is your word." And I try to live that. As much as I can, I try to live that. I don't care what's happening. If I'm making money, losing money, whatever. If I agree to do something, I try to see it through. I try to do it to the best of my ability. And I said I was going to see that through, and I did. And when everything fell apart around me, we had half the movie filmed, and people had invested time. Again, friends of mine were getting involved. I was getting people directly involved. I didn't want to let everyone down. The movie was hinging on me to finish it. I finished it. I stuck with it, even though it turned out to be what it was. And when it was done, I said, okay, this is terrible. And he did a bunch of other underhanded things to try to get under my skin. Damn. Debuting the movie on Valentine's Day, which I didn't want for personal reasons and things like that I just begged him not to do. And he did it purposely to get under my skin. And all the way through, I ended up landing a distribution deal. Big movie, big deal for an underground movie. The movie would have been at Walmart and Best Buys or whoever handles DVDs on Netflix. Yeah. All the same stuff, and they really wanted the movie because I was attached to it, and they liked the trailers, and they're ready to buy this movie outright. And he refused all communications. He said that I'm underhanded. I'm trying to get one over on him. I said, here's how much I'm underhanded. I will have no negotiations with these people. Here's every number. Here's every name you need to know. Go for it, man, and make this. Here's the deal they're offering us. You will not find a better movie or a better deal on this movie. And he just literally threw it away, put it out on Amazon as his own movie, just because he wanted to retain complete control. So that all fell apart. In the meantime, I was really I had 2 bad things that happened, or actually 3 if you want to count the Wild Vengeance movie, because I was really looking forward to that. I thought there was a killer script being written for that too, and that fell by the wayside. So I had 3 disappointments in a row, kind of, like the budget falling apart and the financing falling apart for the Wild Vengeance. That was out of everyone's control or whatever. So that was neither here nor there, and those things happen. But with the 2 first, Running with the Angels, I put my heart and soul in that, and then the lead actor screws us all up, man. Second movie got screwed up, I guess because of the director. I lost control of it. So I said, I'm going to do this one third time. I started writing a script for a movie called Salvation Avenue. And it's a kind of like a cross between The Departed and a movie called Alpha Dog, which I love, with Emile Hirsch, and actually Justin Timberlake is in it. But it's kind of like a hybrid of that kind of stuff, and it's like a brotherly love gone bad kind of movie, and it's like real dark. But it was becoming an epic script. This movie would have been like a 2.5-hour movie, and I really wanted to see it through. And I even thought about making it as a shorter film and breaking it down and just doing like some kind of demo film and getting financing for it like that. But filmmaking such a huge undertaking. You're not only involving a band with like 3 or 4 other guys, you're getting a crew of people. And I was like, man, this is just getting to be too much. And with all the failures, I still would like to do it someday in the future. And as I write new music for my next album I'm going to do, I'm going to write music that I could use on that album, because my music has been moving both of those, been using both of the movies that I'd done, Running with the Angels and Pharisee. Pharisee, unbeknownst to me, I found the music in there after I watched it, after the post-production. Right? Yeah, right. But obviously, my name's attached, so I don't care. But it was there. But so I want to do that, and I will do that, hopefully. And I say, well, hopefully I will move forward with that and do that, eventually when I have the time, when the time allows.
I look forward to all that stuff.
Yeah, man. But
a full length.
Right. Yeah. So that was a long-winded explanation of what I have done.
There you go.
But so, yeah, man.
Looking forward to the show on September 1st.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to? Walking through the doors of the Gameday Tavern.
What am I looking forward to?
What are you looking forward to?
Seeing what the stage looks like, man. No, I think I have an idea. I think I was there once before it was Gameday Tavern. But what I'm really looking forward to is seeing you, George, and Tori together again, man. And I wish Ross was doing it too. I know, for personal reasons he doesn't want to do it. I wish he was sitting in too, man, because I think it's going to be great to see you guys together.
This turned out to be like, I had a night off, and I got, my cover band got offered a yacht club gig. And I said, you know what, no, I'm not going to take that gig. I'm going to do a night where I can play some of my original songs, play with some of my friends and invite some of my friends. And then, one thing led to another. We had an all-star lineup: George Chapman, Tori Berdar, the band Grizzly. I probably should have a whole list of everybody playing.
Brad Slitt.
Craig Martini.
Yeah, Craig.
He's going to do his original project. He's been playing bass for a lot of people as well. You've got a lot of your musicians coming out.
Yeah.
Once again, the show is September 1st, Sunday, the night before Labor Day. And we haven't even talked about Cougar Meat open up the show.
Cougar Meat,
new
yeah.
up-and-coming Spoiled and Priscilla of 2019.
Right.
So
they need to write some originals, but yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna. They run.
Did they?
Yeah.
Did they? Yeah. Dude, it's like I saw your Facebook Live on them. I just thought Greta Van Fleet right away.
Right on.
Those guys are taking the world by storm.
The bass player's 14, so he's still got.
Dude, that's amazing. He doesn't look 14.
No,
I guess you grow your hair longer. I guess you look older, maybe.
Yeah.
And when you get older, you got long hair and you look younger. Go figure.
All right, so we will wrap this up, but I tell you what. So September 1st, Gameday Tavern. It's in Brook Park on the corner of Snow and Smith, and I look forward to all of us being in the same bar.
Dude, I can't wait, man. Just being in the same bar, doing jams, man, playing our songs.
Seeing somebody walk by that you haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big reunion, man. And I'm looking forward to being on stage with Tori and with you. I always love playing.
We're sing a song together, right?
We are, yeah. We're doing a duet. Actually,
it's Olivia Newton-John, right?
It is physical, yes. Actually, and my buddy Dave Jackson from Fox from Akron, and his
Is he coming up?
Yes, Dave's coming up,
Dude,
and
that's huge.
yeah, Kenny is coming up.
Kenny
His
Boyd?
guitar. Yep, Kenny Boyd.
Let's raise hell.
Yep,
Remember
they're
the days
coming
of
up.
Z-Rock and Fox?
Yeah, and a bunch of
Oh,
other things that I can't even talk about yet. Disclose. There's some surprises. And also, I will say, well, like before we cut it off, because I just thought of this, and I can't announce anything yet, but it's a huge deal, and that's I told you about this, and this is why a lot of things have to remain undercover for a lot of things are going on. But Priscilla is doing a huge show in December, right around Christmas, like a week before Christmas.
So
we're doing a huge show.
We'll do another interview. We'll bring
That'd be
some
cool,
of the band
dude.
members in here. Maybe
That'd
we'll
be
do
great.
a live performance on the stage here, and we'll talk on the couch. And
That would be awesome,
we're gonna
dude.
do that. All
And
right.
we'll bring some of the other people that are involved
Brad.
with that show, bring that
Thanks,
show to
man.
life. A
Thank you.
pleasure, Billy.
I look forward to jamming with you and seeing you on September 1st
Right,
at Game
dude.
Day Tavern.
It's
See ya.
It's gonna be awesome, man.
All